Now, for many Nigerians, the year 2022 was filled with drama, surprises, and controversies, and the judiciary had more than its fair share of the three. From the unprecedented resignation of the then Chief Justice of Nigeria to the controversial formation of a parallel law association to the Nigeria Bar Association, there are questions about how the third arm of government demonstrated its resilience and importance to the sustainability of Nigeria's socio-economic and socio-political well-being. In this next report, our judiciary correspondent Shalashi Ali examines the sector in the past year.
It started like a rumor in the early hours of June the 27th, 2022. By noon, there was official confirmation that 68-year-old Justice Tanko Mohammed had resigned on grounds of ill health as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. By evening of the same day, a new acting CJN, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, had been sworn in by President Muhammadu Buhari. It was unprecedented in the nation's history, as Justice Mohammed's resignation came about 18 months before his retirement in December 2023, when he would have clocked 70. Although everything happened in quick succession, 7 days earlier on June 20, in what many Nigerians described as the first of its kind in the 58-year history of the Apex Court, 14 Supreme Court justices had written a protest letter to the former CJN over their welfare and the operational challenges that had almost crippled efficient adjudication of cases in the courts.
Somehow the judiciary gets forgotten as the third and equal arm of government. So you find the executives appropriate things to themselves, the legislature. I mean, you can't compare a judge of the Supreme Court to a senator in terms of their emoluments.
The next most senior judge, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, who initially took over in an acting capacity, has since been confirmed as substantive CJN. But the problem of the depletion in number of the Supreme Court justices still persists. In 2022, Justice Ejembi Eko, Justice Mary Peter Odili, and Justice Abdul Aboki all retired from the Apex Courts. And with their exits, the number of justices at that court dropped to 12, as against the maximum constitutional requirement of 21.
Only 12 of us are there now. 12 are functional. One of us is seriously indisposed for a couple of months now. An attempt to bring in more justices, there's no fund, there's no money.
The issue of better funding for the judiciary no doubt loomed large in the year 2020. And even though in February, a 7-member panel of the Supreme Court justices in a split decision of 6 justices to 1 nullified the Executive Order number 10 on the ground that the President overstepped the limits of his constitutional powers, reprieve came in July when Justice Obaseki Osegai of the National Industrial Court ordered the federal government to commence an improved salary structure for all the judges. On November 18, President Buhari revealed that he had approved the immediate implementation of an enhanced salary and welfare scheme for judicial officers nationwide. Away from money matters, attention will no doubt continue to be on the judiciary, especially with the fast approaching 2023 elections. In February of 2022, President Buhari assented to the amended Electoral Act, which among other things gave exclusive jurisdiction over pre-election cases to the Federal High Court. At the bar, there was also a change of guard in July when the association's elections returned Senior Advocate of Nigeria Yakubu Mekiel, who took over from the Olumide Akpata-led administration on August 26. Hardly had the new ESCO settled down, when in October another professional association of lawyers called the Law Society of Nigeria, led by Senior Advocate of Nigeria Kunle Oguba, surfaced, threatening to end the monopoly of the 89-year-old Nigerian Bar Association. The NBA has, however, resisted the move and promised to sanction the promoters of the parallel association, as well as move for the delisting of the body.
My administration will not, under any guise, ignore, overlook, or sweep under the carpet any alleged act of professional misconduct brought to my attention against any member of the profession, not minding his age at the bar and status in the profession.
The courts were very busy with numerous cases in 2022. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chief of Army Staff were all jailed for contempt in quick succession, although Bawa and Baba were later left off the hook after they purged themselves of their contemptuous actions. Some notable politicians like Peter Nwabushi, a senator representing Delta North, Basi Albert, a governorship candidate of the Young Progressive Party in Akwa Ibom, and Doyin Okupe, Director General of the Peter Obi presidential campaign, were also handed various prison terms by the courts. But Okupe, who was given an optional fine, has since been released from custody. As the judiciary commences its business in 2023, many hope that stakeholders in the sector will prioritize and institute reforms to tackle corruption and indiscipline among judicial officers and lawyers, the high cost of litigation, poor funding, delay in court process and prison congestion, and commit to deliver justice faster and without discrimination. Shola Sheyeli, Channels Television News.
Well, to take further look at the judiciary in 2022, we're joined on the news at 10 by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Kayode Adelola. He joins us from Ikoyi area in Lagos. Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the news at 10.
Good evening. My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, let's get right into it, Senior Advocate. So flowing from that report, how would you assess the judiciary in the past year?
Well, quite frankly, if you ask me, like you're doing, I'd give kudos to the judiciary. They've done a lot of work at the various levels. We tend to assess them based on what we hear from the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeal, but they have done well in most areas. And if you speak to private citizens of how their disputes settled, many of them will tell you that yes, there have been occasions where there has been a delay here and there. But largely, I think judiciary is important. But we as solicitors also need to encourage them to support.
Now, the issue of financial autonomy and better welfare for judicial officers literally dominated discussions throughout the year. Executive Order 10, which was designed to force state governments to obey the law, was shut down by the court itself. And towards the end of the year, President Buhari approved the immediate implementation of an enhanced salary and welfare scheme for judicial officers nationwide. But going forward, how do you think we can best tackle this fundamental issue of welfare?
I'd say this. Generally speaking, the issue of welfare or any policy of government will largely depend on those who work these government policies. There's no doubt in my mind that everyone knows what ought to take. The judiciary ought to finance properly and the legislature. So why don't we have a legislative campaign? Why don't we have executive at the federal level and at the state level? So what we should be talking about here is monies due to the judiciary should be made available to them directly. That's right. The executive order may have not been in consonance with the Constitution, or must find a way around it. They should receive their own finance. That's right.
2023 it's just started, but it's clearly an election year. And as is often the case, elections come with serious pressure on judges from politicians. We had our fair share in 2022, and sometimes these cases are aided by senior lawyers. What do you think we can do, should be done, to shield the judges?
Again, like I said earlier, whatever policy we have, whatever the laws are, whatever traditions we have, those who work these policies must be open-minded, sincere, and honorable. Judges must be able to say no to those who approach them. It may be very difficult because they're part of society, but they must be able also to detach themselves from the larger society. Being a judge means that you have to be sober, means you have to be able to look at the society as one where you are the arbiter between parties, whether they're corporate, individuals, politicians who you live with, or in fact sometimes or friends. But that politicians themselves must purge themselves this tendency to approach judges and to seek due favors from them. Like a society, this is something.
I'd like to thank you so much, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Kayode Adelola, for sharing your thoughts with us on the judiciary and the news at 10.
Thank you.